Matre Namaha. In previous episode, Shakti As Mantra Part 1 is completed. Now we are entering into Shakti As Mantra Part 2. Let us start after the prayer. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. The world is a creation of the thought. That means Chit Shakti associated with Maya Shakti of the Lord Shiva. Her and his thought is the aggregate with the almighty powers of all thought. But each man is Shiva and can attain his powers to the degree of his ability to consciously realize himself as such. Thought now works in man's small magic just as it first worked in the grand magical display of the world creator. Each man is a various degrees a creator. Thought is a real as real, any form of gross matter. Indeed, it is more real in the sense that the world is itself a projection of the world thought, which again is nothing but the aggregate in the form of the samskaras or impressions of past experience, which give rise to the world. The universe exists for each jiva because he consciously wills it. It exists for the totality of beings because of the samskaras which are held in the great womb of the manifesting Chit itself. There is theoretically nothing but that man cannot accomplish, for he is at base the accomplisher of all. But in practice, he can only accomplish to the degree that he identifies himself with the supreme consciousness and its forces, which underline or at work in and manifest as the universe. This is the basal doctrine of all magic, of all powers, including the greatest siddhi, which is liberation itself. He who knows Brahman becomes the extent of his knowing, thought reading, thought transference, hypnotic suggestion, magical projections, and shields are becoming known and practiced in the West, not always with good results. Those who are sheltered by their own pure strength automatically throw back all evil influences, which coming back to ill-wisher, harm or destroy him. Those familiar with the Western presentment of similar matters will more readily understand than others who, like the Orientalist and missionary, as a rule, know nothing of occultism and regard as superstition. For this reason, their presentment of Indian teachings is so often ignorant and absurd. The occultist, however, will understand the Indian doctrine which regards thought like mind, of which it is the operation, as a power or Shakti, something therefore very real and creative by which man can accomplish things for himself and others. Kind thoughts without a word will do good to all who surround us and may travel round the world to distant friends. So, we may suffer from the ill wishes of those who surround us, even if such wishes do not materialize into the deeds. Telepathy is the transference of thought from a distance without the use of ordinary sense organs. So, in initiating the thought of a true guru, may pass to his disciple all his powers. Mantra is thus a Shakti which lends itself impartially to any use. Man can identify himself with any of nature's forces and for any end. Thus, to deal the physical effects of mantra, it may be used to injure, kill, or do good. By mantra, again, a kind of union with the physical Shakti is by some said to be effected. So, the Vishnu Purana speaks of generation by willpower, as some Westerners believe will be the case when man passes beyond the domination of his grass sheath and its physical instruments. Children will then again be mind born. By mantra, the home fire main, it is said, be it. By mantra, again in the tantric initiation called Veda Diksha, it is said such a transference of power from the Guru to his disciple that the latter swoons under the impulse of thought power which pierces him. But mantra is also that by which man identifies himself with that which is the ground of all. In short, mantra is a power in the form of idea clothed with sound. What, however, is not yet understood in the West is a particular thought science which is mantra vidya or its basis. Much of the new thought lacks this philosophical basis which is supplied by mantra vidya, resting itself on the Vedantic doctrine. Mantra vidya is thus form a sadhana by which union is had with the Mother Shakti in the mantra form, in her Stula and Sukshma aspects respectively. The sadhaka passes from the first to the second. This sadhana works through the letters, as other forms of sadhana work through form in the shape of yantra, ghata or pratima. In order to understand what a mantra is, we must know its cosmic history. The mouth speaks a word. What is it and whence has it come? As regards the evolution of consciousness as the world, we can refer our reader to the chapters Chit Shakti and Maya Shakti dealing with the tattvas. This is achieved through Shakti who, in the words of the Kama Kala Vilasa, is a pure mirror in which Shiva experiences himself. The notion is, of course, similar to that of the reflection of Purusha on Prakriti, as Sattvamayi Buddhi, and of Brahman on Maya. From the mantra aspect, starting from Shakti Tattva associated with Shiva, there was a produced Nada, and from Nada came Bindu. This is very clearly set forth in the Sharada Tilaka, a tantric work by an author of Kashmirian school, which was formerly of great authority among the Bengali Shaktas. Shabda literally means and is usually translated sound. The word coming from the root shabd, to sound. It must not, however, be only identified with the sound in the sense of that which is heard by the ear, or sound as effect of cosmic stress. Sound in this sense is the effect produced through excitation of the ear and brain by vibrations of the atmosphere between certain limits. Sound, so understood, exists only with the sense organs of hearing, and even then it may be perceived by some and not by others, due to keenness or otherwise of natural hearing. Further, the best ears will miss what the microphone gives. Considering Shabda from its primary or causal aspect, independent of the effect which it may or may not produce on the sense organs, it is vibration of any kind or motion which is not merely physical motion, which may become sound for human ears, given the existence of ear and brain. Physical conditions. Thus, Shabda is the possibility of sound and may not be actual sound for this individual or that. There is thus Shabda wherever there is motion or vibration of any kind. It is now said that the electrons revolve in a sphere of positive electrification at an enormous state of motion. If the arrangement be stable, we have an atom of matter. If some of the electrons are pitched off from the atomic system, what is called radioactivity is observed. Both these rotating and shooting electrons are forms of vibration as a Shabda, though it is no sound for mortal ears. To a divine ear, all such movements would constitute the music of the spheres, were the human ear subtle enough. A living truth would present itself to it in the form of a particular sound, which is the natural word for the tree. It is said of Akasha that its guna or quality is sound. That is, sky is the possibility of spandana or vibration any kind. It is that state of the primordial material substance which makes motion or vibration of any kind possible. The Brahman Swarupa or Chit is motionless. It is also known as Chidakasha, but this Akasha is not created. Chidakasha is the Brahman in which stress of any kind manifests itself, a condition from which the whole creation proceeds. This Chidakasa is known as the Shabda Brahman through its Maya Shakti, which is the cause of all vibrations, manifesting themselves as a sound to the ear, as touch to the tactile sense, or as color and from form to the eye, as taste to the tongue, and as odor to nose. All mental functioning again is a form of vibration. Thought is a vibration of mental substance, just as the expression of thought in the form of spoken word is the vibration affecting the ear. All spandana presupposes heterogeneity. Movement of any kind implies inequality of tensions. Electric current flows between 2 points because there is a difference of potential between them. Fluid flows from one point to another because there is a difference of potential between them. Fluid flows from one point to another because there is a difference of pressure. Heat travels because there is a difference of temperature. In creation, this condition of heterogeneity appears and renders motion possible. Akasha means Brahman with Maya, which Maya Shakti or stress is rendered actual from a previous state of possibility of stress, which is Shakti's natural condition of equilibrium. In dissolution of Maya, Shakti of Brahman returns to homogeneity when in consequence Akasha disappears. This disappearance means that Shakti is equilibrated and that therefore there is no further possibility of a motion of any kind. As the Tantras say, the Divine Mother becomes one with Paramashiva. The Sharada says, from the Sakala Parameshwara, who is Sachidananda, issued Shakti. From Shakti came Nada, and from Nada issued Bindu. Sachidananda Vibhavat Sakalat Parameshwarat Asichaktistato Nado Nadat Bindu Samudbhavaha. Here, the Sakala Parameshwara is Shiva Tattva. Shakti is Shakti Tattva, wherein the Samani, Vyapini and Anjani Shaktis. Nada is the first produced source of mantra and the subtlest form of Shabda, of which mantra is a manifestation. Nada is threefold as Mahanada or Nadanta and Nirodhini, which mantra is manifestation. Nada is threefold as Mahanada, Nirodhini, etc. First moving forth of the Shabda Brahman as Nada. The filling up of the whole universe with Nadanta, and at the specific tendency towards the next state of manifested Shabda respectively. Nada in its three forms is in Sadhakhya Tattva. Nada becoming slightly operative towards the speakable, mean Vachya, is called Ardha Chandra, which develops of Bindu. Both of these are in Ishvara Tattva. This Mahabindu is threefold as the Kamakala, the undifferentiated Shabda Brahman or Brahman, as the immediate cause of the manifested Shabda, and Artha is a unity of consciousness which then expresses itself in threefold function as three Shaktis: Icha, Jnana, Kriya. The three gunas Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. The three Bindus, which are sun, moon, and fire. The three Devatas, Ridra, Vishnu, Brahma, and so forth. These are the product of the union of Prakasha and Vimarsha Shakti. The one cosmic movement produces at the same time the mind and the object which it cognizes, Nama and Shabda on the one hand, and forms or object on the other. These are all parts of one coordinated contemporaneous movement, and therefore each aspect of the process is related to the one to the other. The genesis of Shabda is only one aspect of the creative process, namely that in which the Brahman is regarded as the author of Shabda and Artha, into which the undifferentiated Shabda Brahman divides itself. Shakti is the Shabda Brahman, ready to create both Shabda and Artha on the differentiation of the Parabindu into the Kamakala, which is the root of all mantras. Shabda Brahman is supreme speech or supreme Shabda. From this fourth state of Shabda, there are three others: Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari, which are the Shabda aspect of the stages whereby the seed of formless consciousness explicates into the multitudinous concrete ideas, that counterpart of the objective universe. But for the last three states of sound, the body is required, and therefore they only exist in the Jiva. The latter, the Shabda Brahman, is in the form of Kundalini Shakti in the Mooladhara Chakra. In Kundalini is Parashabda. This develops into the Matrikas or Little Mothers, which are the subtle forms of the gross manifested letters. The letters make up syllables, and syllables make sentences, mean Vakya, of which elements as mantra is composed. Parashabda in the body develops in Pashyanti Shabda or Shakti of general movements located in the tract from the Mooladhara to the Manipura, associated with Manas. It then in the tract upwards to the Anahata becomes Madhyama or Hiranyagarbha. Sound with particularized movement associated with Buddhi Tattva. Vayu proceeding upwards to the throat expresses itself in spoken speech, which is Vaikhari or Virat Shabda. Now it is that the mantra issues from the mouth and is heard by the ear, because the one cosmic movement produces the ideating mind and its accompanying Shabda, and the objects cognized are Artha, and the creative force of the universe is identified with the Matrikas and Varnas and Devi is said to be in the forms of the letters to A to Ha, which are the gross expressions of the forces called Matrika, which again are not different from, but are the same forces that evolve into the universe of mind and matter. These Varnas are, for the same reason, associated with certain vital and physiological centers, which are produced by the same power that gives birth to the letters. It is by virtue of these centers and their controlled area in the body that all the phenomena of human psychosis run on and keep man in bondage. The creative force is the union of Shiva and Shakti, and each of the letters produced there from and thereby are part and parcel of that force and are therefore Shiva and Shakti in those particular forms. For this reason, the Tantra Shastra says that Devata and Mantra composed to letters are one. In short, mantras are made of letters. Letters are Matrika. Matrika is Shakti. Shakti is Shiva. Through Shakti, Nada Shakti, Bindu Shakti, and Shabda Brahman or Shabda arises the Matrika, Varna, Pada, Vakya of the letter mantra or manifested Shabda. Perception is due to the Dhvani caused by the striking of the air in contact with the vocal organs, namely the throat, palate, and the tongue, and so forth. Before there is Dhvani, there must be striking of one thing against another. It is not the mere striking, which is the lettered Shabda. This meaning manifests it. The lettered sound is produced by the formation of the vocal organs in contact with air, which formation is in response to the mental movement or idea which by the will thus seeks outward expression in audible sound. It is this perception which is transitory for the Dhvani which manifests idea in a language as such, but a lettered sound as it is in itself. That is, as the consciousness manifesting idea expressed in speech is eternal. It was not produced at the moment it was perceived. It was only manifested by the Dhvani. It existed before, as it exists after. Such manifestation, just as a jar in a dark room, which is revealed by a flash of lightning, is not then produced, nor does it cease to exist on its ceasing to be perceived through the disappearance of its manifester, the lightning. The air in contact with the voice organs reveals sound in the form of the letters of alphabet and their contemplations or combinations in words and sentences. The letters are produced for hearing by the person desiring to speak and become audible to the ear of others through the operation of unlettered sound or dhvani. The latter being a manifester only, lettered Shabda is something other than its manifester. The mind is thus both cognizer and revealer and revealed, denoter and denoted. When the mind perceives an object, it is transformed into the shape of the object. So the mind, which thinks of the divinity, which it worships is at length through continued devotion transformed into the likeness of that devata. By allowing the devata thus to occupy the mind for long, it becomes as pure as devata. This is a fundamental principle of tantric sadhana or religious practice. The object perceived is called artha, a term which comes from the root re or which means to get, to know, to enjoy. Artha is that which is known and which therefore is an object of enjoyment. As the outer object is artha, so is the interior subtle mental form which corresponds to it. श्रीकांताय कल्याण निधे निधेद्राम श्री वेंकटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मंगलम मंगलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्य पुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मंगलम्.